So I want you to imagine walking into this massive grocery store, but instead of, neatly stacked shelves and quiet aisles, every single brand is just screaming at you through a megaphone.
Yeah, pure sensory overload.
Exactly. These flashing neon lights, confetti cannons going off, this relentless wall of noise bombarding you from every angle. It is pure, overwhelming chaos. But if you look really closely, you notice something incredibly strange.
They aren't even looking at you.
Right. Half of those brands aren't looking at you at all. They're actually screaming their prices, their product specs, and supply chain data directly into the ear of this little robotic assistant standing right next to you.
Hey, it's a completely surreal image, I know, but it actually captures the exact reality of the digital marketplace right now. I mean, brands are running this very weird dual-track strategy.
Which is what we're getting into today. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring what industry insiders are now calling the renaissance of intention in mid-2026 advertising and design.
Yeah, and if you feel like the internet has just become completely unmanageable recently, you really aren't alone.
Definitely not. We are living squarely in the algorithmic era. But beneath all that noise, there is this fascinating psychological and economic shift happening. Brands are having to market to hyperlogical AI agents on one hand and, well, deeply exhausted, overwhelmed human beings on the other.
Right. We are witnessing this fundamental pivot away from the traditional attention economy. For, the last 15 years, the goal was simply to make you look.
Just grab the eyeballs at all costs.
Exactly. But now the digital environment is so saturated that grabbing attention just isn't enough anymore. Brands actually have to navigate and fulfill your specific predetermined intentions, and they often have to do it through an intermediary.
So today, we're going to look at the machinery behind this shift. We're going to explore why the global ad market is exploding to this record-breaking $1.4 trillion and defying the actual laws of economics while doing it.
Which is a huge part of the puzzle.
Right. And we'll also examine how AI is literally doing our shopping, why looking messy and cluttered is suddenly the most lucrative aesthetic on the internet, and we'll get into the neurological hack of ASMR sensory branding. Plus, a massive, completely untapped goldmine of generational wealth that advertisers are just, leaving on the table.
There is a lot to unpack.
There really is. But before we get into the strange psychology of modern marketing, we have to look at the sheer scale of the money driving this entire ecosystem.
Yeah, because the financial scale is, honestly, it's difficult to wrap your head around without looking at the raw data. So according to projections from Warwick Media, by 2027, the global advertising industry is estimated to hit $1.4 trillion annually.
Wow.
And just to give you some historical context there, that is more than double its 2020 levels.
Wait, double the size in just 7 years?
Yep, 7 years.
But here is the thing that immediately jumps out to me with that stat. The global economy hasn't doubled in 7 years, right? The average consumer's paycheck definitely hasn't doubled. So how on earth is the advertising industry growing at that velocity when the people they are advertising to are feeling the pinch of a sluggish economy?
That is the trillion-dollar question right there. And it comes down to this phenomenon that economists call decoupling.
Decoupling.
Yeah. So historically, advertising spend was heavily cyclical. It was tied directly to GDP and consumer confidence.
Like if the economy was good, companies spent more on ads.
Exactly. If the economy was booming, you felt secure in your job, maybe you bought a house or a car, and companies spent more to capture your money. But if a recession hit, well, ad budgets were the absolute first thing a CFO would slash.
That makes total sense.
Right. But around 2022, that relationship just snapped. We saw a massive inflection point. Since then, global ad spend has outpaced the real economy by 3 to 6 percentage points every single year.
So it's like the stock market detaching from Main Street. Brands are locked in this trillion-dollar arms race of corporate profitability, even if the average consumer's wallet is feeling pretty light.
That is exactly what's happening.
So what is the actual engine generating all this cash? Where is it coming from?
Well, the data breaks it down into 3 distinct forces. First, we have these digital native, cross-border e-commerce companies.
Oh, right.
Think of these massive overseas platforms, right? They are just flooding the zone with billions of dollars to secure immediate performance-based market share.
Okay, that's one.
Second, companies have shifted from volume-led growth to price-led growth.
Let's actually pause on that for a second, because I think that is a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Price-led growth means companies aren't necessarily trying to sell more units of a product, right?
Correct. Over the last few years, a lot of corporations realized they could just raise their prices, sell slightly fewer items, and actually make higher net profits. Yeah. And then they take those expanded profit margins and pour them straight back into digital advertising to, maintain their premium positioning.
That's wild.
It is. But the third, and perhaps the largest driver here, is the absolute explosion of retail media networks.
Okay, this is when a company like Amazon or Walmart essentially turns their own storefront into an advertising business.
Right. Exactly. In the past, a brand would spend their trade marketing budget on physical end caps in a brick-and-mortar grocery store.
Right, like the cardboard displays at the end of the aisle.
Yep. But now, they are paying Amazon a premium just to show up at the top of a search result within Amazon's own ecosystem. They are double dipping.
Oh, man.
Yeah. As analyst Ian Whitaker summarized in the research, it's not consumers who spend on advertising, it's companies. As long as these tech platforms can extract a toll for visibility, the spending will continue, completely independent of how the consumer actually feels.
And because brands are spending this unprecedented amount of money to reach you, the digital environment has just become wildly oversaturated, which forces a complete evolution in how they try to get your attention.
And that sheer volume of corporate cash flooding the zone is exactly what broke the human consumer.
We just tapped out.
We did.
Yeah.
When $1 trillion worth of screaming ads hits your phone every day, you just, you shut down. Your brain literally cannot process the options anymore.
So we cope by doing what humans always do when we are overwhelmed. We outsource it. We're delegating.
Exactly. This is the agentic revolution. Because the internet is flooded, brands are no longer just marketing to humans. They are marketing to machines.
Which sounds like science fiction, but it's happening right now.
It is. Recent Kantar data shows that 24% of AI users are already utilizing AI shopping assistants. We have reached a point where the digital environment is simply too complex for human cognition to manage efficiently.
I mean, it's true. You don't want to spend 3 hours comparing 20 different blenders across 5 websites.
Right. So you give your AI agent an intention. You say, find me the highest rated glass blender under $100 with next day shipping. And then the agent wades into that $1.4 trillion marketplace, analyzes the data, and just executes the purchase.
And it shifts marketing from the attention economy to the intention economy, which fundamentally changes how a company has to build its digital presence.
Oh, completely. It's a massive architectural overhaul known as AI-ready SEO.
Because websites aren't just for humans anymore.
Exactly. Generative engines do not look at a website the way you or I do. They don't care about a clever headline or, a beautiful cinematic video playing in the background.
They can't even really see that stuff in the same way, right?
Right. They are looking for semantic schema. They want clean, highly structured data. Businesses now have to put crystal clear pricing, service data, return policies, and explicit identity statements right in the code and in the opening paragraphs of their pages.
So if a brand's website relies on ambiguity or mystery or pure visual aesthetics to sell a product,
the AI shopping assistant will simply fail to extract the parameters, and it'll skip right over it. Ambiguity is the absolute enemy of algorithmic visibility now.
It's like having a bouncer at the door of an exclusive club. The AI is the bouncer looking at your ID and making sure you meet the strict dress code. And if your data isn't perfectly structured, you don't even get inside.
That is a great way to put it.
But wait, if an AI is negotiating value on my behalf, looking for the lowest cost or the fastest fulfillment, does the machine care about a brand's emotional story? Or is it purely a computational choice?
Well, this is the structural gap where a lot of marketers are failing right now. The machine makes a computational choice based on utility, yes. But once you are inside the club, you still have to charm the actual person you want to talk to.
Right, because the machine isn't the one using the blender or wearing the mascara.
Exactly. You might have the best structured data in the world, and the AI presents your product as the logical winner. But if the human looks at it and feels absolutely nothing, they won't finalize the purchase. You have to win the machine's logic to even be presented to the human.
So it's this new dual system model, algorithmic negotiation for the agents and emotional creativity for the humans.
Precisely.
But the strategy for creating that emotional resonance has totally flipped. Because while brands are feeding perfectly structured, hyper-clean data to AI agents, They're doing the exact opposite for human consumers.
They really have to, because humans are suffering from profound AI fatigue. Over the last few years, we have been just inundated with artificially generated content, flawless AI renders, hyper-polished digital environments.
It all just looks like sterile plastic.
Yeah. Our brains have adapted to recognize perfection as synthetic.
Which is why the defining photography and design trend of 2026 is what the industry is calling messy aesthetics, or the return to real. And I just find this fascinating because it goes against literally everything we were taught about marketing for the last 50 years.
Oh, yeah. Perfection is out. Chaos is in.
It is a deliberate psychological tactic to disarm consumer skepticism, right?
That is exactly what it is. When you see a campaign today, you might see a cluttered kitchen counter, a model wearing slightly wrinkled clothes, uneven lighting, or literal crumbs and smudges left in the frame.
Just totally anti-aspirational.
Completely anti-aspirational. Food, fashion, and lifestyle brands are desperate to convey approachability, and they are doing it by essentially manufacturing the mess of real life.
It's like we're intentionally putting pops and scratches on a vinyl record because the Spotify algorithm feels too sterile. You know?
Yeah.
We are faking flaws to prove our humanity.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening. On creative platforms like Envato, searches for film grain are actually up 31%. People want texture.
They want it to feel real.
Right. And we're also seeing a massive rise in what's called screenshot culture.
Oh, I've seen this everywhere.
Right. This is where major brands intentionally leave the TikTok user interface or their internal chat bubbles or raw timestamps right in the final commercial. It signals the sort of internet authenticity.
It makes it look like something your friend just quickly grabbed and texted to you from their couch.
Right.
Rather than, a production that took 3 weeks in a studio to shoot.
Yeah.
It lowers your defensive shields.
Exactly. And it extends beyond just lifestyle photos, too. We're seeing technical mono, which is this sort of brutalist design using raw monospaced fonts and command line aesthetics.
Like a human coder just threw it together in a rush.
Right. There's also the surveillance aesthetic, which uses high contrast, gritty CCTV-style imagery. It feels very raw and unfiltered. But it is vital to remember that every single crumb, every smudge, and every grainy pixel is a highly calculated corporate strategy.
So, just to connect this back for a second, when you are scrolling later today and you see a seemingly unhinged, messy post from a massive brand, maybe the lighting is harsh or there's a typo in a chat bubble, know that it's a highly calculated strategy designed precisely to cut through your AI fatigue and build trust.
It's all engineered.
But looking real only solves half the problem. In a world where we spend 12 hours a day staring at flat glass screens, our eyes are pretty easily tricked. So to truly connect and prove they aren't a machine, brands are realizing they have to engage the rest of the nervous system.
They need to create a visceral, physical reaction. This is the concept of connectioneering, which falls under the broader industry trend known as all the feel.
All the feel.
Yeah, and the research highlights this striking statistic. 70% of consumer decisions are driven entirely by emotion.
Wow, 70%.
Yeah, so in a synthetic environment, brands are chasing the head nod moment, that instant flash of physical relatability.
Because we are just so digitally numb, we crave sensory depth. We want content that implies temperature, texture, physical weight. And this is driving a massive explosion in sensory branding, particularly sound-led videos and ASMR.
Right, autonomous sensory meridian response.
Yes.
ASMR works so well because it basically bypasses the logical brain and triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. It creates a false sense of physical intimacy through a screen. Sound has really become the primary cognitive anchor for digital trust.
I was looking at the skincare brand Glow Recipe, and they are running an absolute masterclass on this right now on TikTok.
Oh, their videos are incredible.
They really are. Their content isn't just an influencer talking about moisturizer ingredients anymore. It is a highly engineered symphony of audio. You hear the sharp tapping of manicured nails on the glass bottle. You hear the heavy, wet squelch of the pump.
Yep.
You hear the rich, thick friction of the cream being rubbed into the skin. You can practically feel the viscosity of the product through your phone.
And that is no accident. Sonic branding is now treated as a core corporate asset, just like a visual logo. Major companies are developing what they actually call their auditory DNA.
Auditory DNA, that's a great term.
Right, and it goes way beyond just social media videos. The retail strategy for 2026 is centralized management with local nuance.
Wait, how does that actually work when you step away from the phone and walk into a physical store?
Well, in the past, you had what the industry calls O-chord anarchy.
O-chord anarchy.
Yeah, a local store manager would just plug in their phone and play whatever Spotify playlist they felt like hearing that day.
Oh, sure, I remember that.
But today, retail chains use centralized software to ensure that whether you walk into a location in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, you are surrounded by the exact same fundamental brand sound.
Okay, so it's uniform everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the software is smart enough to subtly adjust the tempo, the instrumentation, and the energy level to match the regional culture and the specific time of day.
That is fascinating.
It provides this cohesive psychological comfort blanket for the consumer.
But hold on a second, I have to push back a little here. If every single brand starts standardizing their store playlists to manipulate my mood, or, engineering the exact acoustic frequency of a lotion pump to trigger a dopamine hit, doesn't manufactured ASMR eventually just become another form of corporate manipulation that will eventually just tune out?
I mean, that is the razor's edge these brands are walking right now.
Yep.
Because the moment ASMR feels like a synthetic trick rather than an authentic sensory experience, it completely loses its power. It crosses over into the uncanny valley of sound.
Oh, the uncanny valley of sound. I like that.
Yeah, and that is why the integration of genuinely human-made music and true, unpolished, organic sound is currently being positioned as a premium offering. You just cannot fake the imperfection of real human audio.
Which brings us to the final and frankly most baffling paradox of this entire ecosystem.
Really is wild.
We have established that brands are spending billions in this $1.4 trillion arms race. They are restructuring their entire digital architecture into semantic data just to appease AI shopping bots.
Yep.
They are faking crumb-covered kitchens to appeal to Gen Z's demand for authenticity. They're engineering the perfect lotion squelch for millennials. But amidst all this frantic, high-priced innovation, they're completely ignoring the demographic that actually has the money to spend right now.
It is the most glaring strategic blind spot in the modern market, Generation X.
The data from the Ovative Group in our sources is just staggering. Generation X holds 26% of all wealth in the United States.
Over a quarter of the country's wealth.
Yes. Yet they are the single most overlooked audience in advertising today. How does an industry built on extracting money just ignore a briefcase full of cash sitting right on the table?
It really comes down to industry demographics, the shiny object syndrome of youth culture, and honestly, a deeply flawed reliance on a metric called lifetime customer value.
Okay, unpack that for me.
So marketing departments and ad agencies are overwhelmingly staffed by people in their 20s and early 30s.
Makes sense.
Right, so they naturally design campaigns that speak to their own peer groups, or they obsess over the futuristic hype of Gen Alpha, who supposedly influence $500 billion in household spend.
Right, the whole iPad kid generation.
Exactly. The logic is that if you capture a teenager now, you have a customer for 50 years. But in chasing that 50-year horizon, they abandon the people with the actual capital today.
It's wild to me. It's like they were stepping over $1 to pick up a dime. I mean, it seems to me that if you want to reach a 55-year-old with a mortgage, a solid career, and a 401k, you don't do it with a chaotic TikTok meme or some parasocial influencer campaign. You would just have to offer them straightforward utility.
Exactly. To capture that 26% wealth block, brands have to completely abandon the unhinged marketing tactics that work on younger demographics.
They don't want the crumbs on the counter.
No, Gen X does not want a deeply emotional relationship with their detergent brand. They want pragmatism and direct value. They really value their independence.
Okay, so how do you reach them then?
The most effective way to market to them is in hybrid spaces. You blend seamless digital utility with excellent, easily accessible, real-world customer service. They want the product to work, they want the price to be transparent, and they do not want to jump through hoops to get an answer if something breaks.
Just be useful, be clear, and respect their time. It sounds so old-fashioned, but in an era dominated by performative authenticity and hyperlogical AI agents, simple, straightforward utility is incredibly rare.
It is, and that is where the true competitive advantage lies for brands who are willing to step away from the algorithmic noise and just serve the customer right in front of them.
So to pull all of these threads together for you, the 2026 renaissance of intention is just this massive trillion-dollar paradox. You have brands spending record-breaking amounts of money in a real-world economy that doesn't actually justify it. And to survive, they are forced to build this split personality marketing strategy. On one side, they are stripping away all their creativity to feed hyper-clean, rigid semantic data to autonomous AI shopping assistants.
Pleasing the machine.
Exactly.
Ah.
While on the other side, they are frantically feeding messy, crumb-covered, ASMR-heavy, chaotic content to human beings, just to prove they have a pulse. And all the while, they are somehow forgetting to talk to the wealthiest adults in the room, simply because they aren't considered trendy enough.
It is a marketplace desperately trying to find its footing between the cold logic of the algorithm and the messy reality of the human heart.
Perfectly said.
And, looking at this dual reality leaves us with a final, somewhat provocative question to consider.
Okay, let's hear it.
As we move further into this decade, if AI agents eventually take over all of our functional, practical purchases, if the machine negotiates the best prices for our groceries or utilities and our basic mascara, will human shopping become a purely recreational, emotional luxury?
Oh.
Right. If the AI handles all the logic, will we only buy things ourselves for the sheer messy thrill of feeling something?
That is a fascinating thought. If the robot is taking care of buying the toilet paper and the dishwasher pods, I am only going to a store, or browsing a website for that matter, if there's a genuine experience attached to it. Human shopping might just become an amusement park for the senses.
Exactly.
Well, we hope this deep dive gave you a completely new lens to view the internet through this week. Keep an eye out for those calculated, messy ads and those perfectly engineered ASMR sounds creeping into your feeds. Because the next time you're in that metaphorical digital grocery store and the neon lights are flashing, you'll know exactly who the brands are shouting at and who they are whispering to. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next deep dive.